So let's go ahead and dive into boot camp. Are you guys ready? Ready for boot camp? All right, I promise I won't yell at you and drop and make you do 100 or anything like that. I'm probably too nice to do that. But I'm excited to dive into boot camp. And the first thing I want to dive into are optimizing your profiles on the big three. So like I said, the big three are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, of course. And so I'm going to walk through kind of step by step what I think are some of the most important places to optimize your profile. So first and foremost, we've got your Facebook profile. And I've got a lot of screenshots here. And like I said, I'm going to talk fast, but you're going to get the slides if you miss something. So this is obviously my profile right here. And, you know, one of the things that I see all the time is I see someone's got their title right here, right, and they have their company, but there's no link. Or when you click that link goes to some random miscellaneous Facebook page that isn't related to you. So first and foremost, click on your About tab. Don't do this now. This is your homework after the webinar. But click on that About tab and make sure that this company link goes to your Facebook page. So if you're a real estate agent and you've got your own Facebook business page, make sure it goes to that page. Now you might need to actually delete your employment and then re-add it on, and it's really simple to do. You basically just put it right back in there, and it'll prompt you to click on your page when you're doing this. If you don't have a Facebook business page, you can also link to your company business page, but it's a little thing that makes a big difference to drive traffic to your business page. The second thing that I see a lot of people kind of missing out on is this option right here. So you can see I have this thing set up called an activity log, and what that means is anytime someone tags me on a photo, in a post, or my timeline, I get a notification, and I have to actually approve those. So, you know, some people say, gosh, Katie, I don't want people tagging me in, you know, embarrassing photos, or, you know, let's say someone pulls up some photos from high school that we don't really want to be tagged in. So I encourage you to do that. You can set up your preferences in your account settings. So when you're in your account settings, you can set that up to make sure that you are able to approve all your posts and they don't just automatically get blasted out to the world. The other thing that's important with your profile is your About section. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes here talking about your About section. If you're like most agents, you set this up on Facebook a while ago and you probably haven't looked at it in a long time. So part of your homework, y'all have homework today, is to go on, check out what your About section looks like. It might be time to kind of freshen it up. So here's my work section right here, and you can see I've got everything that I've done, my affiliation with Inman and Inman Next, my business, and all of those links, again, drive back to the Facebook business page for that company. So asking yourself, is this current? Do you have a short description for each one of these? Really important, you know, a couple sentences. And then does each link go to the correct Facebook page? The other thing that's really important when we talk about Facebook is the About You section. So in the About You section, you know, I have a couple quick paragraphs here. Number one, is it current? The second thing is you can put in links. So if you look at this About section, I have a couple live links in here. I have a link to my articles in the Next. I have a link to my Twitter handle. I have a link to my Facebook page. This is important. Yes, you can have these links on other places, but a lot of times when someone is looking in your About You section, it's really easy to have a link right there. The other thing that I encourage you to do is put your email right in here. So I have on here, contact me, please email me at right here. I don't hide it. I don't make it difficult for people to find. I can't tell you how many times I try to find someone's email on Facebook, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, and it's hidden or it's not there. And so yes, I could leave them a private message, but a lot of times you want that email, especially if the client's trying to reach you. The second thing is this public? So each one of these boxes in Facebook has the capability to make it public, or you can set it to just your friends, you can set it private. I really encourage you to make this section About You public. So if someone is searching you out, if they, you know, let's say they go on Facebook and they say, hey, you know what, I'm looking for a real estate agent in San Francisco, who can you recommend? And their best friend recommends you, and they're not friends with you, well, if they go on your page and they're not friends with you, they won't be able to see this information because it's not public. So make sure it's public, really simple thing to do. The other thing that's important on your Facebook page, again, we're still talking about the About section, is you can list any pages that are yours, so any business pages. So if you have a Facebook business page, now I have 5 pages here listed. Obviously, for most of you, you're not going to have 5 pages listed. If you have 1 business page, maybe you might have 2, but make sure they're listed right there. It's one other way to promote your business pages on your About section. Again, making sure that section is public. The second box over here, I've got contact information. So these are all the different ways people can contact me. And note, again, email. I have 2 emails listed. One of the things that Facebook did recently is they changed everyone's email settings. So if you were to go into your About section and click on your contact info, the default email address is your Facebook email address. It's Katie at Facebook or whatever your Facebook is. So you need to go in there and change that to whatever your email is, whether it's Gmail or whether, whatever your email is. Otherwise, your email is not in there under the email section. So again, all you need to do, click the About section on Facebook, click this Edit tab, and it'll take you right there to edit that. Little thing that makes a really big difference when we talk about optimizing your profile for success. The other thing I want to mention is adding subscribers. So this is something I get asked all the time is how do I add subscribers and what's a subscriber? So as you can see, I have subscribers set up. And what that means is when someone sends me a friend request and I don't accept it, so maybe someone sends me a friend request that I have no idea who they are, right? That happens to, oops, sorry about that. So that happens to probably all of us where we get a friend request and we don't know that person. So if you don't accept it, that person automatically becomes a subscriber. So what that means is they will receive your public updates only. They will not see any of your updates that are meant just for friends. They're also not in your news feed because they're not your friends. So one of the things that's important to note is when you add subscribers, when you post an update, you can then select public or friends. So this is a little thing that makes a really big difference. People ask me all the time about separating personal and business. I'm a big believer that we're in an era that you can't completely separate business and personal, nor that you probably wouldn't want to. Real estate is such a personal business. But I know for myself when I'm posting, pictures of my kids or things that are really personal, I post those just to my friends. But when I'm posting about my business or things I'm excited about, I'll post those publicly. So just a little thing, again, that makes a big difference in terms of optimizing your profile for success. So far so good. I'd love to get some feedback really quick in the chat. If this is something you guys are liking, you're excited about what you're hearing so far, give me a yes. Give me some feedback. Awesome. Cool. Lots of good feedback coming in. Fantastic. Okay, so let me dive in. I talked a lot about optimizing your profile for Facebook. Let me talk a little bit about Twitter. And, it's funny, some of these things when it comes to Twitter, if you've been on Twitter a long time, you may not even have these little things set up. And it's, this is something I see all the time. But there's 4 things that make a really big difference when it comes down to optimizing your profile for Twitter. First of all, you can add a header. You see this big image right here? This is a new thing. This is something new that came out not too long ago from Twitter, and not a lot of people have adopted it yet. So you can go into your settings and easily update a photo. It looks a lot like the timeline photo for Facebook, but add that. It's one other visual thing to do on your site, on your Twitter site. The second thing is in your bio. You have 160 characters. I can't tell you how many times I don't see this filled out. If you've heard me talk about Twitter on Agent Reboot or other webinars, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. So fill out your bio, and you obviously want to mention in there what you do in your business. If your business has a Twitter handle, put that Twitter handle in there. So you can see right here, I have in here Chief Strategist for Inman News. I have at Inman News, Writer for Inman Next. So someone could easily click there, and that takes them to Inman News or Inman Next. And then, of course, you have a unique URL down here. So think about what that URL is. Is it just a link to your site? Is it a link to your blog? Is it a link to your Facebook page? Making sure that's filled out. It's a little thing, but it makes a big difference, especially on Twitter for sure. So let me dive into LinkedIn. Now, there's been a lot of changes with LinkedIn and a lot of things happening, and I want to talk about some of the new ways that you can enhance your profile. So first and foremost, if you haven't been on LinkedIn in a while, you got to go on LinkedIn. It's really changed. They've really given it a facelift, and there's a new way to really amplify your education. And I think this is fantastic for real estate. A lot of you have certifications that you've completed. A lot of you have completed courses. Some of you who are listening internationally might speak other languages. You're part of other organizations. projects, volunteer experience. So these are some new sections now that you can add onto your LinkedIn profile. You simply go into LinkedIn, you click the profile button, and there's a big button that will ask you to enhance your professional profile. And I'm going to show you what that is right here. So here's my profile, and this is a new section. See this little arrow right here? So when you click that button, that Add Section, that will allow you to add, your certifications, classes, additional things that you may not already have on your LinkedIn. The other thing that makes a big difference when we talk about optimizing for LinkedIn is your summary. So many times I see people have their work experience but not their summary. This is really critical, especially when people are searching on LinkedIn for specific things. Summary is very, very important, making sure it has, your specialties, what you do, your market areas. And then up here at the top, you'll see, and you probably have seen this last time you've been on LinkedIn, it will show you how complete your profile is. Is it 100%? Is it 80%? If it's not complete, make sure you take the time to update that profile. Now, I want to show you something else as well. When you connect with someone on LinkedIn, there's now the opportunity to give them an endorsement. This is a new thing. I've gotten a lot of questions about endorsements and what this is all about. So, and a lot of you might be getting emails saying, so-and-so endorsed you. What does that mean? So on your LinkedIn profile, you are able to list your skills and expertise, as many as you would like. I have on here probably 8 or 10. Now, do you want to have more than that? You could, but really, you want to focus on what your core skills and expertise are. And you can simply, by a click of a button, it's really a little plus sign next to each one of these, and you can endorse people for different things that they are skilled at. So one of the things I've found that people are doing that helps to connect with them on LinkedIn is once they've connected, so once they've sent them a connection request and they're connected, what's the next step? Well, the next step is if you know them and you feel comfortable endorsing them, endorse them on one of these categories. So if you know someone is an expert on social media or real estate or whatever they might have listed as their skills, endorse them for that. And they get a little notification saying, hey, Katie Lance endorsed you for real estate marketing, or Katie Lance endorsed you for blogging. It's a little thing that makes a big difference. You don't need to write anything out. It's literally the click of a button. But it's one more little touch when it comes to LinkedIn. The other thing with LinkedIn, and this is a little bit hidden now on LinkedIn, which I don't like. I don't know why LinkedIn has done this, but they've hidden a little bit, meaning this is all the way at the very bottom of your profile. If you haven't looked at your LinkedIn profile in a while, make sure you do this. Click profile and go all the way down. And LinkedIn allows you 3 links down here. And those links are customizable. So yours right now might just say my company, because that's usually the default, but I've customized mine. So mine say about me, mine have a link to my column, and mine have a link to my Facebook business page. A little thing that makes a big difference. Those are customizable. And of course your Twitter handle, make sure that's in there as well. Are you updating your LinkedIn profile once a day? Now, I'm sure if I asked all of you, probably a lot of you would probably smile and turn to each other and say no, because a lot of you aren't. So this is a huge opportunity. In the past, Twitter and LinkedIn used to be able to be linked. So if you are on Twitter, you would be able to push all your tweets to LinkedIn. I used to do that. Well, Twitter doesn't allow that anymore. So now if you want to post an update to LinkedIn, you need to post it directly. So I encourage you, as part of your social media strategy, and you're posting to Facebook once a day, you're tweeting, post an update to LinkedIn once a day. The audience on LinkedIn, you might be connected to some of the same people on these different social networks, but I have to tell you, posting it on LinkedIn, you're going to get a little bit of a different response. You might not get as many comments or likes or engagement, but what's interesting about this, I started posting daily on my LinkedIn, and I'm getting comments and reaction from people that I don't necessarily get from other people on different social networks. So it's an easy thing to do to really maximize your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn should not be the set it and forget it network. I know a lot of times it is. We set it up and we walk away and we don't do anything with it. But for a real estate agent, there's a huge opportunity there. Don't be passive with LinkedIn. Every potential client you meet, connect with them on LinkedIn and Twitter. It's a lot easier to connect with someone on LinkedIn and Twitter when you first meet them than Facebook. Sometimes you get a Facebook request from someone you just met and you're like, I don't know, I just met them. But if they send you a LinkedIn request or they follow you on Twitter, it's a little bit different. I have to show you, this is a graph from my own LinkedIn account, and I've really been a little bit more aggressive about connecting with people on LinkedIn. And you can see the spike of people looking at my personal profile on LinkedIn, and it's made a big difference in terms of my connections. So it's an easy way to connect and expand your sphere. Okay, I want to jump into advertising, and I'm going to talk quick because I've got a lot of important content here. People ask me all the time, advertising, what about Twitter advertising? I'm getting emails for that. What about LinkedIn advertising? What about Facebook advertising? So I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, Facebook advertising is the way to go if you're going to advertise on social media. Now, of course, there's options on Twitter, there's options on LinkedIn. Both of them are pretty pricey, and both of them, to be honest, in my opinion, are more geared toward the big brand, the big company. So if you're a broker, your owner, your manager, that might be something more to look at for your business. But for the average agent, social media advertising on Facebook is really the way to go. So I'm going to walk through what I think are one of the best ads that you can run. A lot of agents are afraid to run ads on Facebook. They don't know what to do. It's a little intimidating, so I'm going to walk you through some stuff right now. Facebook.com/ads is where you need to go. This is a fantastic resource page with videos and how-tos. They've really done it right on Facebook, explaining the ins and outs. So I'm going to show you, again, kind of the secret sauce, what I think are some of the best things to do in terms of Facebook ads. So once you click on Facebook ads, it'll prompt you to create an ad. The best type of ad, in my opinion, are the ads that drive likes to your Facebook page. Now, you can do ads that drive to your website. You could do ads that drive to your blog. But generally speaking, and again, this is just from my own experience, is that the ads that generally do the best are when they drive to your Facebook business page to drive likes. So if you're listening to this and you're like, Katie, I have like 100 likes on my page, or I have 500 likes and I'm just stuck. How do I take it to the next level? Facebook ads are really the way to go. So first and foremost, you click on your Facebook business page, and then you have three options. You can get more likes, you can get promoted page posts. What I recommend is you click See Advanced Options. And then what you're going to do is this first ad that pops up below, you're going to remove that. And I'm going to show you why you're going to click to remove that. Why are you going to remove this? Okay, so what Facebook wants you to do is they want you to upload a photo and put some custom text in here and create this unique ad. Why do I not want you to do this? Because this is where real estate agents get stuck and spend hours and hours creating the perfect ad. I know you're probably listening to this, you might be smiling because some of you might have done this before, right? It's just like when you spend hours perfecting the perfect listing flyer and you agonize over every single word and every single photo. You have more important things to do than agonize over that. So yes, there's some fantastic ads that work this way. Some of you are probably running them. If they're working great for you, awesome, keep doing it. But I want to encourage you, if this is your first step into Facebook advertising, follow what I'm suggesting here. So remove that and instead focus on stories about your page. So you can see here, here's an ad, Jane Doe right here, likes Katie Lynch Consulting. Okay, so that's what this particular ad is. We've all seen them where our friends like a page. It's one of the most effective forms of advertising on Facebook. 80% of consumers say they're more likely to try new things based on a suggestion by a friend in social media. Sponsored stories are huge. So, there's so many things that you could do in terms of a Facebook ad, so there's three things for a real estate agent to pay attention to. First and foremost, the area. So you target your area. Where are you a real estate agent? Put in your area, you can put in your zip code. Age, I tend to target people 25 and up, but that's flexible. You can change that. Of course, you can add precise interest, but I'm saying keeping it even simpler. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to click only people not already connected to my page. So I'm going to pick people in San Francisco that live within 25 miles, who are over 25, who are not already connected to me. And then here's the easy part. So here is the part where you pay, right? So you can choose the option of $10 a day. I recommend if this is your first time, or maybe you haven't done Facebook ads in a while, start small. Literally $10 or $20 a day. It is amazing the returns that you will see, especially if you've never run any of these ads before. Set it for $10 or $20 a day, $25 a day perhaps for 5 to 7 days, and then see what happens. It's very, very simple. The other thing I want to mention on here, so you saw I kind of drilled down into some specific target areas on ads. There's a couple other key things here. So I also targeted friends of connections. So I targeted friends of people who already liked my page. Now before there was 900,000 people that could have liked my ad. Now, look, I'm only targeting 1,800 people. That's the key to Facebook ads, is really drilling down to a small audience, people in your area. You can also click different things in terms of education. College grad is an easy thing to click on as well to really narrow it down. So I know I flew through a ton of stuff as far as the Facebook ads go, because I've got a limited amount of time here. But if you're listening, I really encourage you to go back and go through my screenshots. Again, you're going to get the slides in a couple days, but it's a little thing that really makes a big difference in taking your Facebook strategy to the next level. The last thing I want to mention when it comes to Facebook ads is the news feed. So news feed is where people stay connected with businesses wherever they are. You know, you're 40 to 150 times more likely to consume a brand or to work with a brand when it's on in your news feed. People hardly ever go back to your actual page, right? We've all heard this. They see your content through the news feed. And so through a new thing called promoted posts on Facebook, this is an easy way to take your post and put it up at the top of the news feed. Now, this is a little controversial. Some people have mixed feelings about it. You know, in my opinion, Facebook is obviously it's a company, it's a business, and one of their biggest revenue models is advertising. So if you are a business, one of the easiest ways to get your post seen is to advertise it and to promote it. And you simply just click on promote at the bottom of a post, and then you can choose your amount. It will give you a recommended amount, and then it will give you different amounts that you can pick based on the reach. And I've done this a number of times. Very effective to do. Of course, not every single post, but a little thing that makes a big difference. So let me move on to the next point here. So how do you effectively connect with potential clients and potential agents? I have 3 easy steps. All right, there's a lot of text on this slide, but it's really simple. Number 1, add them on LinkedIn. If you're working as a broker and you're trying to recruit, add those people on LinkedIn. If you're working with potential clients, add them on LinkedIn, and then endorse them as appropriate. Of course, you're not going to endorse someone you don't know, but endorse them as appropriate. Second thing, add them on Twitter. Put them into a list. One of the best things about Twitter is you can create lists. View that list just once a day. If you have a list of potential clients and the 10 of those people are on Twitter, put them on a list called potential clients. View that list once a day, and then retweet a few things of interest every day. And the third thing, add them on Facebook as appropriate. Don't be creepy. I say this because if you just met someone, you don't know them at all, it sometimes can be construed as creepy. But, if you've had a good conversation, I always say if you've had a conversation with someone, add me on Facebook. So add them on Facebook if you feel it's appropriate, and then create a list. Again, I tell people about lists all the time. I can't believe more agents aren't doing this. If you're not doing this, if you haven't heard anything I've said this whole webinar, create a list of your potential clients on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/bookmark/list. Create a list of potential clients. Click on that list once a day, and instead of the huge noisy feed of your news feed, you'll just see those potential clients, interact with them authentically. Here's a great example. I have a list of all of our ambassadors for different cities. These are ambassadors just from Austin. Only 10 people on that list, but I can click on that list and I can see different ambassadors and what they're doing. Easy thing to do. So a couple last slides, and then I'm going to bring PNC up here to answer a few questions. So little things that make a big difference. People ask me all the time, Katie, what's the secret sauce to Facebook, secret sauce to Twitter and LinkedIn? I have to tell you, after teaching tens of thousands of real estate agents about social media, I talk about social media all the time. It's generally not anything big, but it's all in the details. It's all in the nuances. So writing on other people's walls, huge. Do you take the time to say happy birthday to people? To, when you're thinking about someone, leave a short message on their wall a couple times a day, once or twice a day. Sending private messages. I call this hand-to-hand combat, right? Hand-to-hand combat. So it's not public. Not everybody's seeing it. But are you sending 1 or 2 private messages a day just to people you're thinking about? Hey, I want to connect with you. NAR's coming up very soon, and a lot of people are there right now. So some of you are headed there today. I'm headed there on a plane later this afternoon myself. And I'm sending private messages. Hey, am I going to see you at NAR? I would love to connect with you. Really important thing. Think long term. If you're tweeting, tweet this. Think long term. You're building a relationship, not selling a used car. Okay, I had to put the smiley face in there. But, you're building a relationship. Think long term. Think of the relationship you're going to have 12 to 18 months with people, and that's the value of social media. Keeping it short and sweet. 2-sentence rule for status updates. If you're someone who likes to talk, and I know real estate agents, you guys love to be chatty, keep it short. You want people to like and comment and share, keep it short. Be authentic and be there every day. I want to wrap up with a couple things before I bring PNC on. And that is, little things make a big difference. You know, images, 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 we hear it all the time, but your own images are the best. We have these fantastic devices in the palm of our hand. Use your smartphone, take photos of what you're doing day in and day out. Use apps like Instagram, Over, Camera Plus, Snapseed, Camera Awesome, Diptych. There's so many fantastic apps to capture what you're doing and are great content for your social media. Again, images, your own or best. Pinterest is another fantastic place to curate great images for your social media. Here's an image we took from our Pinterest board. We have a board on our Pinterest account that's all about home. This image posted to our Facebook account, got 71 shares, 10 comments, 65 likes. Incredible, again, because of images. So what if you could get just one extra deal per month via social media? I'm sure all of you would say yes, right? So one extra deal, what does that look like? Well, if the average home price in America is about $200,000, I know some of you are higher, some of you are lower, that's $2.4 million. And what does that mean in extra revenue? So how do we make this happen? And I really believe that this is possible. We see people doing this all the time, and the way that you make this possible is every new person you meet, are you connecting with them on your social networks? Are you sending them a tweet saying it was great to meet you? Are you sharing them on your profile, exciting things that are happening that you're doing with clients? Are you bragging? A little, a little, right? Are you posting the photo up of sharing the keys to the new homeowners? Are you sharing the exciting things that you're doing in your business? People want to work with busy people. If on your social networks all you're doing is talking about, you know, all the relaxing you're doing, you know, people want to work with busy people who are making things happen, and that's how you share that on social media. In the past, marketing used to be very one-dimensional, right? Buy our product, billboards, bench ads, right? Newspaper ads, very, very one-dimensional. But now we have this amazing opportunity to have a two-way conversation with customers. You know, Sheryl Sandberg just gave an amazing talk at Ad Age, and she says, you know, brands have this way to create a two-way conversation with consumers, and they bring their 130 friends with them along for the ride. Social media is word of mouth at scale. You know, any marketers always talk about word of mouth, and that's really the value. When we talk about Bootcamp today, and we talk about the three big networks, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, this is the opportunity that we have. So really, really important stuff. You know, we are, what time are we at? We've got just a few minutes left. So I want to go ahead and open this up for questions, and I know we've got a number of questions here. I'm going to pull up, we've got lots of questions here. I'm going to pull up this really quick, and I'm going to bring John back on from PNC. And John, are you still with us there?
I am. Thanks very much, Kate. It was great. I mean, I know I learned something already.
Good, good, awesome. Yeah, I know I tend to talk pretty fast, so I know everybody's excited about the slides afterwards.
I already updated my header.
Oh, good. Oh, good, good, good. You followed it. So, John, let me pull back up your slide here really quick. So, I'm getting a lot of questions about PNC. Where can people learn more about PNC and what you guys are doing?
You know, I would highly encourage people to go to pncmortgage.com/Asian Alliance. You can log in there. You can get a lot of information. We have archived webinars that you can get content on a lot of the things we talked about today and more. You can find out about events that we have coming up. And I want to emphasize that the events that we put on, you know, Reboot, Inman Reboot, the events that we put on with Jim Marks, these are not events where we're out just talking about PNC. As a matter of fact, you know, there's very little of that. Most of what we want to do is help educate agents, give them real content that they can put to work that makes them more money. The more money and the more successful they are, the more successful we're going to be. So pncmortgage.com/Agent Alliance. You can find a local office. You can find a local person that can get you all the information you need.
That's fantastic. And I think that's really important, too, that you're giving agents, you're giving brokers really good, valuable information and really good resources for them and their business. I think that's so important. And you were also saying, John, I had a few questions about some of the hurricane victims. You were saying earlier that agents or brokers could log in somewhere if they have
I would go to
clients that
pnc.com. That's our publicly facing website that will have information there. We're also on Twitter, so you can get information on Twitter from PNC. And I'm trying to look up as quickly as I can the address for that. But again, if you search PNC on Twitter, you'll find it. And there are updates frequently every day on things that we're doing to help the folks that have been impacted and ways they can get in touch with us, and things we're doing about accounts and loans and things, and trying to help people as best we possibly can.
That's fantastic. That's great. You're really giving people peace of mind, which is really what it's all about. That's fantastic. Well, let's see here. I'm just going to answer a few more questions. We've got just about 2 more minutes here, so I'm going to take a couple more questions here in the chat. If I don't get to your question, please feel free to tweet me, post a message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/InmanNext. So I've got a question here. Somebody asked me, if you have 2 businesses, should you have separate LinkedIn pages? I think that's a great question to ask. So in my opinion, no. You should have one LinkedIn profile, and that is your profile about you and about any and all companies that you have. So, within LinkedIn, you're able to, put companies concurrently. So if you are the CEO, for example, of 2 companies at the same time, which is, I guess, a positive problem to have, you can list those concurrently on your LinkedIn. But I think that's a great question. So no need to have separate LinkedIn pages for separate businesses. Keep it simple. Let's see here. Somebody asked me about transferring your personal Facebook account to a business account. This is a great question. So can you transfer your personal Facebook account to a business account? Yes. Do I recommend you do it? I would say cautiously be very, very careful about that. So yes, you can take your personal profile and transform it to a business account. From the people that I've talked to that have done that, I don't think Facebook has quite mastered that. And so yes, all of your friends will become likes, but there seems to be a lot of issues in making that happen. So you can do it. To be honest, I would not. I would keep your personal profile. You're going to have some business interaction on your personal profile because being an agent, being a broker, that's just part of your business. But then create a separate secondary profile of business. A secondary business page for Facebook. And by the way, we've done a lot of webinars about that as well. If you guys are on Pinterest by any chance, pinterest.com/InmanNews, we have a webinar board with all of our past webinars. I know PNC has been a sponsor for us in the past as well as other sponsors. So we have all of our webinars right there. And a few of those webinars talk about exactly just that. I'm going to take one more question here, and then we're going to wrap it up because we are going over time. So I really want to thank everybody. We're just a few minutes over. So last question here, should you have one Twitter account for life and business, or should you separate your Twitter accounts? So again, I get asked about separating stuff like that all the time. In my opinion, if you're an agent, just have one. Keep it simple. Just have one account if you're an agent. If you're a broker or a manager, obviously a franchise owner, you're going to have your business account and you'll have your personal. But as an agent, just have yourself. Have your name, at Kitty Lance or whatever your name is, if possible. Keep it simple. But don't do the multiple accounts if you can avoid it. So again, if you have any questions, contact me. You've got my Twitter handles there, at Kitty Lance. I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/InmanNext. Feel free to post questions there. I know there was a lot of questions I wasn't able to get to, and I'm talking really fast. I apologize. But post your questions there. You can also reach me on my own personal page, facebook.com/KatieLanceConsulting. All of our articles on next.inman.com. We have a huge archive of articles all about social media, and I know a lot of you read Inman Next. So thank you, everybody. Again, huge thank you to PNC for sponsoring us today. Couldn't do these type of webinars without sponsors like PNC. So thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see all of you on social media. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic day.